Hi, Chuck Hawley from West Marine with a buyer's guide on topside paints. You know, we use the general term topside paint to describe really any paint that's used above the waterline, but it might also be used in the bilge or in the interior or some other place, so it doesn't necessarily have to be on the side of your hull. There are a whole variety of paints available, but I want to talk about 5 specialty paints right off the bat to sort of put them in the right perspective. There are paints that are available with built-in non-skid. In other words, they either have a rubberized texture or they actually have grit in the paint. So that's a special type of paint. There are boot stripe paints. Boot stripe paints are used to do that little stripe along the waterline or possibly your sheer stripe, and they're sold in the same colors but in very small quantities so that you can use a contrasting color without buying a quart of paint. There are interior enamels. The interior enamels generally have a mildew fighting agent in them, and they are frequently a flat finish and water based, so there's less fumes in the air. There are paints specifically designed for your decks that are highly abrasion resistant, and there are paints designed for bilges. So if you take those specialty paints out of the equation, what's left? Well, you end up with enamels, kind of classic enamels, 1 part polyurethanes and 2 part polyurethanes. 1 part enamels used to be what everybody used to use, and you'd have your favorite manufacturer and your favorite color and you'd use it on your boat every spring. But enamels have given way to polyurethanes. You'll still find that 1 part enamels are popular on work boats and on some wooden boats, where wooden boat aficionados think that the enamels give the best possible finish. But frankly, we're seeing fewer and fewer enamel paints being sold and more polyurethanes. The polyurethanes go under 2 different brands. The Interlux brand is Brightside 1 part polyurethane, and the Petit Copcoat brand is Easy Epoxy. These products are available in a wide variety of colors. I think I discovered on the Petit site that they had 21 different colors of Easy Epoxy. These are great for the do-it-yourselfer. They apply smoothly, they can be sprayed, they can be brushed, they can be rolled. They are wonderful universal paints, and when they're dry, they have good gloss, beautiful colors, and they're very hard and UV resistant, so they'll last a long time. Now, if you want to spend a little bit more effort, you might consider using a 2 part polyurethane paint with some sort of a catalyst involved and then the base paint. These are available also in a wide variety of colors, and both again from Interlux and from Petit. And these are the ultimate in toughness, in gloss, UV resistance, and so forth, but they're a little bit more work to apply. Finally, there are 2 part paints that are really for professional use only. These are under the brand names of Sterling and All Grip, and they make wonderful products, but they're probably best left for the professional. The third consideration is color. Oftentimes, you're not painting the whole boat, you're just doing a little patch, or you want to paint something to match an existing part of the boat. In that case, use the same paint you've been using for years so that you get the closest possible color match. Each one of these manufacturers has a slightly different paint palette, and you'll find if you've been using Spar Buff since the 80s, you'll want to continue using Spar Buff from the same manufacturer so that it matches perfectly. Incidentally, the old paint and the new paint will probably look a little different, but at least it'll be tonally correct. The key to a good painting job is to have a good primer underneath your color coat, and both Interlux and Petit make really good primers. In the case of Interlux, they've got pre-coat, which goes on, it's easily sanded, and it just gives a nice firm base for the paint to go over the top. In the case of Petit, they've got Easy Prime. Both of these products allow you to have a professional result on your color coat, but everybody says, oh no, I just want to get to paint my boat blue or red. Don't be tempted. Put on the primer, sand it, and go over the top of it with a color coat. And try to stay with the same manufacturer's paint products just so that you have assured compatibility. Although these paints are good to go right out of the can, you may want to consider altering their properties a little bit by thinning them. You can use something like this Interlux 333 brushing liquid, which just makes the paint flow on beautifully. Or if you're spraying, you may want to thin it with something like this 216 thinner. And again, Petit has similar products for their paints so that you get just the right amount of thinning and just the right properties. There are also a couple of additives you might consider, especially non-skid. If you're doing the deck of a boat where you want to have a good non-skid finish, you can either mix this in with the paint or you can sprinkle it on using sort of a coarse salt shaker after the paint is applied and make a nice non-skid surface. And you may find that there are different grits of non-skid depending on how aggressive you want your deck to grip your feet. So in this brief video, we've tried to give you an overview of some of the products available for doing a topside paint job. All of these products and many more are available online at westmarine.com or in any of our 300 conveniently located stores.